Hey everybody, it is rib time. I will be smoking some baby back ribs and some pork spare ribs. Come join me while I get this cook underway. Alright, so I've got my fire started here. I'm burning through a few coals that I had left from my first cook on this new grill. Um, shouldn't take long to get those down, and obviously we'll have the fresh charcoal ready to go. We'll get the pit up to temperature, and then we'll get the ribs on. You'll notice to the right side there on the cool side, I've got a few pieces of white oak. Those are pieces of a stack of wood that my older brother gave me from some boards that he cut out of Mississippi. And I've got them drying on that right side, so as I go through the few pieces on top of the coals, I'll be able to add those in and kind of add a little bit more of a wood smoke flavor on top of this charcoal burn while I'm smoking my ribs. Again, today we're going to be doing baby back ribs and pork spare ribs, all in a Mexican barbecue flavor with definitely some lime and chipotle seasoning in that main blend. Alright, so I got the bottom dampener open all the way. I'm going to go ahead, now that the fire is kind of maintaining itself for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and close this lid, and then I'm going to get my the top dampener set. Make sure that's wide open so we can get plenty of airflow coming from the bottom to the top, and we should see that temperature rise pretty quick. It's going to be a good cook. Yeah, look at it. It's going quick. Nice clean smoke coming out of there, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to grab the ribs and let's get this cook going. Alright, so I got the ribs all seasoned up. I used a yellow mustard binder, and I'm going with my Mexican barbecue seasoning here by Spanglish Asadero. It's got chipotle, lime, and other spices. Let's get going. I think it's going to be a great cook. I'm excited. And of course, Crosby joined the party, guarding that grill, making sure nobody's running off with my ribs. As you can tell, it's been pretty rainy outside, but that's not a big deal. You know me, I cook rain or shine, and luckily the big oak tree behind me gives me plenty of a cover. Unfortunately, as you can see, my deck is green, covers everything else in leaf and tree debris, which I just have to deal with. When it cools off, I'll probably do some pressure washing, make everything look nice and new again. But for now, it'll do, and hopefully I can extend my my pavers, give me some better cooking area, and but you'll see that in time. For now, I'm just working on some delicious ribs. It's been a little while since I've cooked ribs on a Weber grill, so I'm just kind of making sure I keep these ribs out of reach of the direct flame. I'm expecting I may get a little char here. Again, this is just a learning process, and hopefully we fare pretty well. So it looks good. I'm going to put this other rack of ribs up on this this top rack here, and it's on its way out. With the smoke, because that damper is going to cover right above the rack of ribs. So hopefully we don't have too much trouble. But I'll monitor that, and we'll change it if we need to. I'm going to do a last little check on my fire here, make sure I've got plenty of coals. I've got a piece of that dry white oak laying right across it, and it's looking pretty good. So I think we're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and get this lid closed up. Remember, if you're looking, you're not cooking. So keep that lid closed until you're ready to absolutely look. Okay, so this is the second time I've opened the lid. We're going on a 2 hours here. I had to move the ribs a little bit because that heat was kind of getting to the tips of the ribs, and I want some char and I want some nice bark, but I don't want burnt ribs. So I rearranged them a little bit. They seem to be doing nice, and I've got a little bit of an apple cider vinegar and water spritz going here to keep those nice and moist and keep that fire at bay. I'm going to do a quick check, just make sure that I've got plenty of coals, and I think we're good to go. And of course, because I got the lid open, my alarm is going off telling me, hey, your temperature's dropping, what's going on? So let me turn those off, and then we can get this reset, and we'll go for about another hour and a half. The ribs are looking really nice at this point, so I don't think it's going to take much more. Alright, so the firebox is looking good. I think I can put all 3 racks back down on the main grate. I'm going to go ahead and do away with this higher rack for now, and just get everything lined up and back to where it was, and we should be good. So we'll go on for about another hour, hour and a half, as I stated, and I think we'll be good to pull these off. They're seeming very, very tender at the moment, so that bone should be separating from the meat shortly. Alright, so the ribs are looking great. Got a little more char on the end than I was hoping for, but there's actually some good bark there, so it's not as burnt as it looks. The meat is super tender. The bones are definitely ready to be pulled out at this point. So what I'm doing is I'm going to wrap the ribs for about a half an hour to an hour, and I took that beef tallow that I made from when I cooked my brisket, and I'm gonna put the ribs in some paper, and then I'm gonna put a couple scoops of that tallow on top, so that once I put them back in, they'll kind of soak and sit in that beef tallow for that 30 or 45 minutes that I'm gonna cook it after this. And you'll see once I get the ribs off, that paper is gonna be nice and wet in that tallow, and can't wait. The tallow is a little bit harder than I expected. It's a lot like scooping really solid ice cream. But I got it out, no problems. So I'm gonna get this one, get this first one wrapped up, and then we'll get the other 2 done, and get this lid closed back up. Finish this cook off right. Yeah, sorry about the sound on this. My neighbor thought it was a good time to start cutting his grass, weed eating, and blowing. What you're gonna do. Decided to go back in and add a little bit of dry wood, a few more pieces of charcoal, just to kind of round this cook out. Shouldn't take very long. Looking good, so we'll close it up, and we'll move on. Alright, so I think it's about time to take these ribs off. What you didn't see was I put on a few corn on the cobs here, which I'd seasoned with butter and Killer Hog's AP seasoning. They didn't take really long to cook, and so they're looking good, and they're going to come off with the ribs. Alright, so the ribs are done. I've got pork ribs, I've got baby back ribs, and I've got spare ribs. They look and smell incredible. Wow, these are the spare ribs. How awesome that looks. I just did a simple mustard binder, and I did the Mexican barbecue. And I'll go ahead and drop the link for that seasoning that I used. It's from Sam's, and look at that. That is just fall apart. Oh my God. Incredible. You gotta try this. A little cartilage, but wow. This cook was a little over 3.5 hours. Smaller racks. Perfect. All right, let's try the baby back. Don't know when's the last time I've had baby back ribs, but today is the day. And so what I did was, about 2 hours in, 2.5 hours should I say, I decided to wrap these guys. And what I did was I went ahead and put in a tablespoon or two of tallow from that brisket cook that I posted on YouTube. And I let them sit there and smother in some beef tallow. So let's see if pull apart. I don't even need the knife. Look at that. So good. That flavor is incredible. Got a little bit of char on the end. I cooked this on the Weber grill. I was expecting I would probably get a little bit of this, but no big deal. It's delicious, absolutely incredible. I highly recommend, if you can even get a small grill, do it at home. I think these were $6 or $7 a rack. It may be a little more, maybe a little less, depending on where you live, but not super expensive. And if you have a few hours on a weekend and a small grill, I mean, you can pick one up for less than $100, I'm sure. Even a little Smoky Joe Weber. Those grills are awesome, and you could do one of these racks easily on one of those grills. So if you like what you see here, please like, subscribe, comment, share. Please try it at home. You guys, this is incredible. I love doing it, and I'm loving bringing it to you guys. Don't worry, I'm gonna share some. You can't see him, but Crosby's sitting right here. That's my grill guard dog. I'm gonna share. So, peace. That's smoking.